Good morning, ladies. Thank you for joining me this morning. I am going to show you how to create this cute little Easter basket. The bunny is all done with punch art. And then we've got these little carrots that are holding jelly beans. And then we've got the little basket here. I'm using Flirty Flamingo from the Bright 6x6 Designer Series paper collection. Little scrap of black Stampin'Up marker, and multi-purpose glue. Okay, so we need one big circle. Oops. We need one of the large ovals. We need 6 of the second to smallest circle, and then out of DSP Designer Series paper we're going to need 4 of the smallest. Okay, and then you're going to need, oops, I've already lost another eye. All right, you're going to need 2 of those, and that's just using any small circle punch that you've got. All right, so let me show you how this all comes together. Oh, and you need a scrap of DSP for his nose, and I'll show you how to cut that. All right, so his face is on the largest oval. All right, and all I did was cut a straight line or use any corner on the DSP. This is to cut his nose, and I just cut 1/4 of a circle. I tried doing it with punches and the dimension wasn't right. So that's how I got his little nose, and I just glued that on. Glued 2 eyes, then took the Stampin'Up marker and drew the little eyebrows. And depending upon which way you draw them will give him a different expression. And then just a little comma under his nose, and then just a swoop of a line and a little comma at the end of his mouth. All right, we've got his body. So I'm just going to put a little glue on the back of his head and glue it to the body. In fact, I'm going to use my silicone craft sheet so that I don't end up with glue all over the place. Okay, now on his ears, what I did is I took the DSP ovals, sorry, and I didn't glue them quite down to the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit behind on the bottom of each of these, and this is going to be for his ears, and we want to place his ears just about so. Okay, now this bunny, when he's done, he does not fit on a card front. You would have to downsize all of your parts and pieces if you wanted to put this on a card. All right, keeping in mind where I place the glue, because I don't want the glue to go off the bunny. I'm going to go ahead and put his feet on. And then his little arms just go behind and just at the neckline, okay? So how easy this comes together. And I did get this off of Pinterest, and I do need to credit the author of this because she did a really sweet job. And there's your bunny. Simple, easy, quick. And as I said, if you wanted to put it on a card front, you'd either have to make a larger card. I think he's just under 6 inches tall, and he comes out to be about maybe about 4.5 inches wide. Okay. All right, so there's your bunny. Let me move this all out of the way, and I have one eye for another bunny. Don't know where the other eye is, but we'll find it. All right, so let's get this out of the way. Now we're going to do the carrot. All right, and the carrot is really very simple, because I didn't necessarily want to make a closed carrot, which I'll show you in another video in a day or so. But I wanted it to be open so that it was just easy to access the candy. And in here is probably only about 12 jelly beans. So not that many, even 10, I think. All right, so I took, again, the Brights Designer Series paper, and I wanted to maximize my paper. So I was able to get 4 carrots out of 1 piece of paper. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. All right, so it's a 3 by 3 inch piece of DSP. Okay, and what I did is I just rolled it on the edge of my desk from point to point. Okay, you can see how this rolls together. And then all you do, and I found green glue works the best because it's a tiny piece of paper. Anything else pulled apart, and maybe that's just here in Florida with the humidity, since it is 90 degrees today, or almost. It was just easier to just glue this. And all we're going to do is create a cone. Oh, that one's not working. Hold on. Stay tuned. Okay, there we go. All right. And so we just adhere a little bit of glue here on the seam. You do have to hold it for a second or two till it sticks. And what's really neat about this Designer Series paper is the fact that it's two-sided. Oops, sorry. So you can either do the stripes, you can do the polka dots. You'll see on here, on these, I did a combination. And there you go. All right, that was fairly simple. Then I just took a little cello bag and just tied it off with a piece of ribbon. And you can tie it off with twine or anything else. So that fits nicely into the basket. And just a little tip, if you end up with glue here on the seam, rather than trying to use an eraser of any kind, just take your embossing buddy and then just dab that a little bit over there, and that stickiness will go away, and it's barely visible. So there you go, really cute. All right, and now the basket. All right, the basket, you're going to need a piece of crumb cake, okay? And the piece of crumb cake is going to be 3.5 by 9.5. All right, and it's going to be scored at 1.5. Now this is on the 9.5 inch side. At 1.5, at 4.5, at 6, and at 9. And then on the short side, you're just going to score it at 1.5. All right. Now what we're going to do is, we don't need this little piece here. And I always cut things a little bit on an angle to miter them. So we don't need this little piece here. Cut that off. Okay. And then we're going to just cut up on each of these score lines just until this 1.5 inch mark. Okay. All right, so there we've got that. Get the trash out of the way. All right, then we're going to run this through the Big Shot. And the embossing folder I'm using is called I have to always look it up here, Basket Weave Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. It's a real mouthful, okay? And because the whole thing does not fit, and I didn't want a seam anywhere, I just went ahead and placed it in the folder to this one score line. Make sure it was straight. And I'm going to run that through the Big Shot. And because this is a dynamic folder, you only need one extra plate. So there we go. Okay. Then what I did is I took crumb cake and a sponge, and I'm just going to go ahead and sponge the edges a little bit, just so that it just doesn't look so plain. It really does give it some dimension. And just even go over the basket weave itself, because the ink will only pick up on the raised areas. Okay, all right. Then we're going to go ahead, and I've burnished all of these score lines. All right. And now to put it together, the adhesive is only going to go on this flat here. All right, we'll just lay that down and just fold it over. And if all your scoring's correct, it'll just meet up there perfectly. Okay, you do want to hold it a minute. And the reason I'm using green glue is with all this raised texture, the green glue just grabs the paper a lot better. All right, so there we go on that. And then we've got the 4 sides. Really, there's no rhyme or reason as to what goes in first or second. I have a tendency to put the sides in first, and then I put glue on the larger pieces. Push those down. Make sure it's nice and square. Okay, and then either using your fingers or a bone folder or anything else, just go ahead and push this down. All right, so there we've got our little box. Now for the handle, we just need one of those little pieces of scrap. You know, when you cut paper down for making cards, you always end up with a 1/2 inch of scrap. So I ran this through the Big Shot folder as well. This piece happens to be a 1/2 inch by 6 inches long. So here we ran it through the Big Shot, and I also did a little sponging on that as well. Then I'm going to take my paper piercing tool, or really it's take your pick tool, okay? And I'm just going to punch a little hole here. And I could do this with a hole puncher, but it's just as easy this way. Hole on either side, okay? And then a hole on either end of the handle. All right. And then any brads that you've got. I've got a mixture of colors, and most of them are retired from Stampin' Up, but that's okay. Use whatever you have. Push that through here. Push it through this side. Open those little feet. And then you need one for the other side. Okay. And push that through. All right, there you've got your little basket. So we've got our basket, and we've got our bunny, and we've got our little carrots with their candy inside. And so all you're going to need is a little bit of grass for the inside. That side looks better, doesn't it? You're going to need a little grass for the inside. I adhered the bunny just using regular glue, and I just stuck him kind of to the side, as you can see here on the finished one. All right. So if you've got any questions, shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Again, I'm Linda with Snowberry Stampers. And here's my website and my email in case you need to reach out to me. If you like this video, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up, even subscribe. And if you subscribe, just hit the bell and it'll let you know the next time I post a video. Thanks again for your support. It's very much appreciated, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.